Just the glutton for punishment.
7 o'clock.
What?
7.
No. Told you, I keep learning.
All right, so let's call the meeting of the Finance Committee to order on February 16th, 2022. Our temporary clerk is Alderman GOV. Would you please call the roll?
Absolutely. Mayor Donches.
Here.
Alderman Clee.
Here?
Alderman Cuomo.
I am here via Zoom. I am traveling for work, and there is somebody in the car with me, but I have my headphones on.
Alderman Gouveia is here. Alderman Clemens.
Here.
Alderwoman Timmons.
Here.
Alderman Moran.
I am present on Zoom. I am parenting solo tonight, and my 3 children are here in the home, but they are asleep in their beds.
And we also have Alderman Tebow. All right, obviously we have a quorum. Public comment, is there any member of the public who would like to address the committee?
This is for items to be acted upon, correct?
Yes.
And do you have any new business?
Yeah.
It doesn't have anything listed.
We do.
All right, we have communications. Alderman Gouveia.
I motion to accept, place on file, and approve change order number 1 to update requirements for the HVAC upgrade at the Nashville Police Department with Turnstone Corporation in the amount not to exceed $25,840.39. Funding through Department 150, Police Department, Fund 81200, Buildings and Improvements, by roll call.
And I believe we have someone from the PD on Zoom.
This is Captain Robert Page. Good evening. I apologize if you can't see us. We seem to be having a problem with our camera. Hope everybody can hear us.
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
Okay, great. All set for me to get started?
Pardon? So could you tell us about the change order and the HVAC project?
Sure. Speaking to the HVAC project change order number 1 in the amount of $25,840.39. We're not looking for additional money. The money will be paid within the current bond. There are 5 changes specifically under this change order. The first change is cooling in the data closets. These data closets give off a lot of heat from the IT equipment, and they need their own temperature control and regulation. The second change is for shaft fire dampers. We need to upgrade to meet code, and we currently need 2 more to be installed. The third change was for ceiling tiles and grid, and the grid is the metal supports that hold the ceiling tiles. The original tiles are from 1979, and as they're being taken out so they can work in the ceiling, they're falling apart. So we need new tile and grid for these rooms. The fourth change is for lighting in the firing range. We're replacing old original halogen lighting with new green, energy-efficient LED lights. And the final change is for the roll call room HVAC extension. In this case, we are converting 2 rooms into 1, expanding our current roll call room to address COVID concerns and growth within the department. This directly affects the HVAC system in terms of vents, thermostats, and other HVAC components that are installed.
All right, good, thank you. So does anybody have any questions or comments? Alderman Clemens.
Thank you. So just to be clear, all of those changes that you had mentioned are included in this line item for 25,840?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Anyone else? When do you expect the project to be completed?
We don't have the exact end date. I did speak to Turnstone themselves, and they stated they're about approximately 40 to 45% done. They've almost completed all the work on the 2nd floor of the building, which is our top floor, and that is that's the longest part of the project. So they're approximately 40 to 45% done. It's just kind of what do we, it's the unknown unknowns that we could hit between now and the end. But the next phase changeover is due to happen in about 3 weeks, and we'll be moving into the 1st floor at that point, with the basement still to follow after that.
All right. Any other questions, comments? All right, could the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Clee,
Yes.
Alderman Cuomo,
Yes.
Alderman Govea is yes, Alderman Clemmons,
Yes.
Alderwoman Timmons,
Yes.
Alderman Moran,
Yes.
Mayor Donches.
Yes, motion passes. Next item, again, a communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager. Alderman Govea.
I motion to accept, place on file, and approve the purchase of 10 sets of personal protection equipment from Bergeron Protective Clothing of Epsom, NH, in the amount not to exceed $32,580.17, funding through Department 152 Fire Rescue, Fund 61110, Protective Clothing, by roll call.
And I believe we have Chief Buxton from the Fire Department on this. And others.
Good evening, Assistant Chief Steve Buxton, Nashville Fire. I have with me Deputy Chief James Kirk and Deputy Chief Robert Barrows. This area of responsibility falls under Deputy Kirk. As many of you know, our department's in a period of transition right now, so Deputy Barrows is here just to kind of observe the process and see what it's all about, but Deputy Kirk will be doing the speaking this evening.
Deputy Clerk.
Thank
Kirk,
you.
excuse me.
Thank you. Thank you for having us here tonight. This request is to purchase 10 sets of full complement of firefighting protective clothing for new hires that will be set to take the line sometime around May 2nd. I've listed it out there. It's jacket, pants, boots, reflective parka, helmet, and vest. And as the communication says, it's coming from Bergeron Protective Clothing, which is a New Hampshire company right here in New Hampshire.
Okay. Questions? Alderwoman Clee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This, as always, more for the public than anything, is within the budget, and you're not asking for additional funds, correct?
Correct. It's within our budget.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alderwoman Timmons.
I just have one quick question. How many people are you getting, new people are you servicing for this equipment?
This is for 10 people, 10
10 people,
new
okay.
hires. And these are hires that are replacing people that have retired or left the job.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, could the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Clee,
Yes.
Alderman Cuomo,
Yeah.
Alderman Govea is yes, Alderman Clemmons,
Yes.
Alderwoman Timmons,
Yes.
Alderman Moran,
Yes.
Mayor Donches.
Yes, motion passes. Next item is another communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager. Alderman Govea.
Yes, I move to accept, place on file, and approve the purchase of a 2022 Ford F-250 pickup truck with custom bed cap and equipment through McGovern Municipal HQ and equipment to be purchased from Global Public Safety in the amount not to exceed $74,292.24, funding through Department 152 Fire Rescue, Fund 81500, Vehicle and Surf, by roll call.
Gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is a SURF expenditure that is the normal replacement of the command vehicle that the on-duty shift commander, deputy chief uses. Currently, that vehicle is a 2018. The normal life cycle of that vehicle is 4 years. The one that we have now will go into reserve, and the new vehicle will take its place. You have two pieces of documentation. One is from McGovern HQ, who will supply the 2022 F-250, Ford F-250 pickup truck. And then Global Public Safety, a company right here in Hudson, will be doing the upfitting with the custom cap and additional lighting and sirens that you'd see on that type of vehicle.
Questions, comments? Alderwoman Clee.
Thank you again, Mr. Mayor. Just for the record, you said this goes into, the old one will go into reserve. Is there one currently in reserve? And if so, what will happen to that one?
So there is currently a vehicle that was actually repurposed from another division, from our training division that has been placed in the reserve for the deputy's vehicle. In addition to being a reserve vehicle to be used when the vehicle that we currently have is in for repair, it's also used for personnel that come in off duty and respond and cover the city in the shift commander role. So the one that we currently have is actually in good shape, and it potentially could be repurposed. We've had some new roles. For example, the K4 position, the investigator inspector position that we just filled last week. He could actually use this particular vehicle, but we don't have anything slated for it specifically, but definitely a need within the fire department that this vehicle will take.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Alderman Govea.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a quick question. You say the one we have now is in good shape. Is it needed to do another purchase of one now? I know we say the shelf life is around 4 years, but if the one we have now is in good shape, is it absolutely needed that we purchase a new one?
It is absolutely needed, and that's a great question, Alderman. One of the things that I would point to is that keeping up with the life cycle keeps the vehicles, because at some point they will be no longer in good shape. But
Of course.
what's really important about this vehicle is as I had mentioned, it's not only a reserve piece, but it's also a piece that when we have multiple alarm fires and we need coverage for the city, the deputies like myself would come back from off duty and use this vehicle to cover the city. And then potentially if another fire were to happen, we would even need another vehicle for the subsequent deputies to come back and respond as well. So to call it a reserve is really not the best explanation of what this vehicle does. So we do have to keep vehicles that are in good condition and able to be used.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? All right, could the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Clee.
Yes.
Alderman Cuomo.
Yes.
Alderman Govea, yes. Alderman Clemmons.
Yes.
Alderwoman Timmons.
Yes.
Alderman Moran.
Yes.
Mayor Donches.
Yes, motion passes. Thank you very much. Next item is Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager. Alderman Govea.
I move to accept, place on file, and approve change order number 2 for unforeseen miscellaneous cost in additional work that has not been part of the original scope of work with HKT Architect, Inc. in the amount not to exceed $37,000, funding through Department 160 Admin Engineering, Fund 53107, Architect and Engineering Services / bond by roll call.
And I believe Mr. Cummings is here on this.
Yes, that's correct, Mayor.
Could you give us a overview?
Yes, happy to. For the record, Tim Cummings, Director of Economic Development. What you have before you this evening is a change order for $37,000 for miscellaneous unanticipated expenses that came up during the design process for the DPW Administrative Office building. All these expenses are contemplated and anticipated in the total project budget, which we're staying within, but they weren't originally accounted for in the original contract scope. Most of the work are small housekeeping type matters, like $3,000 for an existing conditions compilation plan, moving of the building after we had one of our committee meetings slightly from where it was originally proposed, some additional comments and questions that came from the state permitting office that needed to be addressed. So all these miscellaneous items in total add up to $37,000 in design changes.
All right, questions, comments? Alderwoman Clee.
Thank you again, Mr. Mayor. Director Cummings, I did hear you correctly. You said that although they weren't anticipated and they weren't part of the original project scope, but they are within the budget, so you're not asking to come in for any additional monies. You've already have budgeted for this as unanticipated costs, is that correct? Did I hear that correctly?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, could the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Clee.
Yes.
Alderman Cuomo.
Yes.
Alderman Govea, yes. Alderman Clemmons.
Yes.
Alderwoman Timmons.
Yes.
Alderman Moran.
Yes.
Mayor Donches.
Yes, motion passes. Thank you very much. Now we have an item again from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager. Alderman Govea.
I move to accept, place on file, and award the bid to SHI for the purchase of 4 new switches and corresponding components in the build-out of the disaster recovery site in the amount not to exceed $86,049.35. Funding through Department 122, Information Technology, Fund 81342, Computer Software and Hardware /SURF.
All right, and I see Mr. Misovich is here.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, thank you. Nick Misovich, Chief Information Officer. This communication, as you can see, is the next step in the building out the disaster recovery site. The first meeting this year, I mentioned that the next step would be storage. However, due to supply chain issues, I had to swap things around because the switching hardware is a 3-month lead time and the storage is only a 2-month lead time. So members of the committee are aware, switches are the hardware components that all devices connect to so they can communicate with each other. These switches will provide 10 gigabit fiber connections to all components, and then a 40 gigabit connection from site to site. So we're increasing the speed to improve performance, and that's really about it.
All right, thank you very much. Anyone? Alderman Tebow.
Hey, Nick. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Hey, Nick, you look much different than you did a couple hours ago.
Thank you.
A constituent asked me this question, and I just wanted to throw it out there because I want to make sure that people know the answer to this. I'm taking some training by Alderman Klee. So why weren't we able to get this locally in New Hampshire? That was what the constituent had asked.
All right, actually, I did reach out to a firm that we do regular business with in New Hampshire, and unfortunately, their pricing was $20,000 higher. And the difference in that is probably with Cisco products, there's a partnership level that vendors deal with Cisco, so the more they sell, the higher their level and the greater discount they can offer. So unfortunately, the New Hampshire firm probably wasn't at a high enough level to get us the utmost optimum pricing.
Thank you, Nick.
You're welcome.
Alderman Como, do you have something?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thanks, Nick. I just had a quick question. This communication mentions that it's the awarding of a bid. Do you know how many bids we received on this, and what the length of time was that this was out to bid before this was selected with this company?
Actually, I mistyped the letter. It's not a bid, it's a quote, and I received 3 quotes. So I'm sorry?
No, just saying thank you.
All right.
Now, Alderman Como, you were breaking up a bit, so I'm not sure if you...
He said thank you.
Oh, you're finished? Okay. Any other questions, comments? Could the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Klee.
Yes.
Alderman Como.
Yes.
Alderman Govea, yes. Alderman Clemmons.
Yes.
Alderwoman Timmons.
Yes.
Alderman Moran.
Yes.
Mayor Donches.
Yes, motion passes. Unfinished business, we have none. New business resolutions, none. New business ordinances, none. Record of expenditures, Alderman Govea.
I move that the Finance Committee has complied with the city charter and ordinances pertaining to the record of expenditures from the period of January 28th, 2022 to February 10th, 2022 by roll call.
Anyone? Could you please call the roll?
Alderman Klee.
Yes.
Alderman Como.
Yes.
Alderman Govea, yes. Alderman Clemmons.
Yes.
Alderwoman Timmons.
Yes.
Alderman Moran.
Yes.
Mayor Donches.
Yes, motion passes. General discussion, any items of general discussion that anyone would
Mr.
like
Mayor?
to raise? Alderwoman Clee.
Alderman. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yesterday, I believe Alderman Como had asked about the records of expenditure and signing the document that we all signed. And I had suggested that I believe when we get the record of expenditures, there's a sheet on the back that he could sign that and then just bring that in and I just want to make sure that I was accurate when I told him that. And the same would apply to Alderman Moran.
Okay, yeah,
Okay,
I think that's correct. And I do have it here for those who are present.
for those that are present. Thank you very much.
Any other general discussion? Public comment. Please state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes.
Lori Ortolano, 41 Berkeley Street. I'd like to talk to you a little bit tonight about the barriers and the barrier issue. I'm really disappointed to learn, and today I learned there was a public meeting of the Downtown Improvement Committee, January 14th, that was never posted, I would say legally, such that the public knew the meeting took place. It was a 90-minute meeting. The bulk of the discussion was about the placement of the barriers. On January 12th, I sent an email to Alderman O'Brien and Tim Cummings requesting any information on this committee, any committee meetings that were going to happen. The right to know was actually ignored. I never got a response on the 12th. This is my file that I put together today that has about 6 emails that were sent to Alderman O'Brien and Cummings trying to find out when meetings were going to happen, how the committee was being set up, and how I could participate or know about it. And I got stonewalled for 2 months. And I learned through a back door that there was never going to be a committee picked, as said in the public meeting on December 8th, that the stakeholders, and I have confirmation of this through emails, was going to be just a downtown committee of stakeholders. Well, I realize now that that committee is the Downtown Improvement Committee. It was never directly said. And Tim Cummings was meeting with them for 2 months to go over developing the plan and getting input from them. And I can tell you, if the public had known, there would have been 25 people out there. I know there would have been. The best place for the public to have their input is in these smaller subcommittee meetings. They're much more productive than coming to a board meeting. I received the most offensive email last night from Tim Cummings telling me that I didn't miss anything. I shouldn't be concerned that those 2 meetings weren't really posted, because you'll have all the opportunity you need when it goes to the board. You know what? That's the normal process. The normal process is that I'm allowed to attend all public meetings that are public meetings. You don't get to pick what meetings I get to go to. And at any time, the Board of Aldermen can cancel public comment. They've done it before. The Board of Aldermen doesn't answer questions. I've got a drawing in front of me now that I actually have questions about. If I had gone to those 2 committee meetings, I could have asked questions. When this comes
30
up,
seconds.
I can't ask questions. And today I went over to City Hall to try and get the records for the minutes for downtown improvement. I was treated so hostily by Tim Cummings, I was floored. I waited 45 minutes outside this office at that table, just left a message when he was done his meeting that I wanted to talk to him. He literally ran down the stairs, yelled at me that I didn't have an appointment, and refused to answer if the minutes were in his office.
That's time.
Thank you.
All right, remarks by Alderman. Any remarks by Alderman?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Alderwoman Clee.
It's not germane to the aldermanic, but today's my husband's birthday, and I just wanted to wish him a happy birthday. I've been in house meetings all day long, and I rushed from there to here, so I get to at least say happy birthday to him publicly.
Anyone else? Remarks by Alderman?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Alderman Moran.
I just wanted to point out today at the House, we were able to pass a bill that would allow the state to contribute 7.5% to our municipal retirement fund. And I'm very proud to have voted for that today. And I just wanted to share that with the Finance Committee.
Well, we thank you very much, and all of our members of the delegation, particularly those who are aldermen, yourself, Alderwoman Klee and Alderman O'Brien, but I suspect all of the members of our delegation supported that, so we really appreciate your hard work. Anyone else? Alderman, any comments? All right, Alderwoman Klee.
Yes, I motion to adjourn the Finance Committee at 7:25 PM.
Call the roll, please.
Alderman Clee,
Yes.
Alderman Cuomo,
Yes.
Alderman Govea, yes. Alderman Clemmons,
Yes.
Alderwoman Timmons,
Yes.
Alderman Moran,
Yes.
Mayor Donches.
Yes, and the meeting is adjourned at 7:25 PM. All right.
I know.